What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. It is July 16th, 2025. I am Sean Ross Sapp. I am joined by Alex Pawlowski. We are here to talk AEW Dynamite. Also, some all-in fallout. I was not on the post-show this week, and we have barely got to hear Alex talk about All In on this channel.
Really? Like we barely scratching the surface of my thoughts over 3.5 hours on Saturday.
Just barely. If you guys haven't, please check that out. I knew that Alex and Kate would do a lovely job covering that show, and they did. Please check out Joel Pearl, who also did an incredible job doing a solo show on Saturday night's main event. A little background on that. Like, I'm out of town. Alex and Kate are covering what they're covering, and let's be real, I'm not going to have them cover a WWE PLE with Goldberg main eventing. No offense, Alex. And I know none's taken.
Goldberg was doing his retirement speech that got cut off while we were still talking about All In. So it would have been very difficult to do both reviews.
But to be fair, I don't know that you could have buried it more than Bill Goldberg buried it this week.
That's true. He did my job for me.
Yeah. Kate and Cresta, phenomenal job for Evolution. Yes. But if you do, for some reason, still want to hear this dude talk about it, I did a weekend wrap-up show on FightfulSelect.com, the best $5.99 a month in the business, and I did a follow-up Evolution show. But I talked about ROH, AEW All In, Saturday night's main event, Evolution, Great American Bash, which had a killer Ricky Starks, Ethan Page match on it. All those on FightfulSelect.com. In addition to just dropping stories all week long, all freaking week long, the All-In Scoops thread, you know, that stuff speaks for itself. But right now, I have news on a top AEW star taking time off. I have select answers on the Hogan biopic, Cena AEW, Dustin Rhodes AEW, reverse screw jobs, stuff like that people were asking about. Evolution, Luchasaurus, upcoming injuries. I spoke to Carlos Silva, and I straight up asked him, is AJ Styles going to be at TNA Slammiversary? The details on that on Fightful Select, as well as Jazz remaining with TNA, I'm told, in a backstage capacity. All this and more. Please support FightfulSelect.com. We gave you more details on Bryan Danielson not being asked, or being asked to not do the yes chance by WWE. Enough of the Fightful Select plugs until we get to those appropriate points. Leave a thumbs up on this video. Get your super chats in. Get your humper chats in. I did a Q&A answering a bunch of them today. I do a bunch on Fightful Select every day. But let's talk about AEW Dynamite. A lot of what I look to right now, Alex, is the now what. Now what do they do? How do they follow up on this? They have now a 1B championship with some clear direction. Kenny Omega, dead, according to Don Callis. We'll talk more about exactly what happened, but they have a clear vision for that. But there's also a bit of a different vision for that title that we'll speak about. We have Hangman Page coming out and cutting a big promo. We have Toni Storm very clearly set for her next program. We still do have some question marks, though. AEW has a residency in Chicago for the next few weeks. I want to talk about that first off. I want to say this, like, the venue looks great. It sounds great. Wish they turned the lights up a bit. As always, I wish they would turn the lights up. I think they need better lighting on AEW. You know, it's almost like a rib that it's like, well, you go to Chicago so many times that you can't draw there anymore. And then they're like, well, let's go there 6 times, but we'll run a really small venue. You would like to think that after their biggest show in North American history, that they could run a venue and people would be like, well, hell yeah, man. Let's do that and draw some more people. I don't know what they could have drawn for a regular attempt at Dynamite now. I'm interested in how they draw the next few weeks as well. But I love the smaller venue approach, although I am a bit conflicted on this being sort of their home territory and them having to do this, but that might also be a product of the residency, Alex.
Yeah, I love this venue, man. Like if you weren't sold on it before Toni's promo, you were definitely sold on it afterward.
Yeah.
Like that is the place from which she should be addressing her throngs of fans. It's perfect. Yeah. And I think it's really anything that has like a really unique look to it, I'm all for. I love these old theaters that they run occasionally. This is really great. I wonder if it'll feel like it's getting a little too samesies by the 4th or 5th show we watch from there.
Sure.
But I really love it so far. Yeah, I don't, to your point of like, let's run like an arena with like 8,000-9,000 and see if we can sell it out coming after our biggest thing. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like I kind of like the idea of it being really intimate. Like you're that kind of promo that Hangman cut feels best delivered to fans who are all packed into this really small place.
Oh yeah. Like the intimate setting for sure.
Intimate setting feels so much more than if it was done to like this big cavernous arena. So I mean, I like it for now. I don't know how much I'm going to like it after Collision and after next week's Dynamite and the following Collision, but right now I really like it.
I'll tell you one thing that I really love that WWE does, and you'll always notice it now, but behind their Tron, they have the individual lights, the individual like little bulbs, and that is to make it look less cavernous. It isn't to like give the illusion of fans or anything like that, but it's so you don't have those deep, like just cavernous areas behind that. And I think it comes off really well on the show. It makes the show, it makes it look a little busier and more lively. Parker Hines says, my goodness, that venue is beautiful. I desperately need them to clarify the casino Money in the Bank title shot. So our friend Dave Cost, he asked for clarity on that on Blue Sky last week. He sent me a message. And because that gentleman is so generous to us, I was like, you know what? If I get a question, I'm going to use that as the question. And Toni, it was so funny because like in the press room, we're all like, my God, these are taking forever. We don't need the whole history of CMLL. Like, I really think that the PR should tell Toni, you got to stay on task a little bit more, like 2-minute answers.
True.
But I got the short answer to send us home. And it was, I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. It's changed every year. And I know that last year, there were a lot of people like within the company that felt like that contract situation was a bit of an albatross and wasn't something they necessarily wanted to do. While we're on the subject of venues, like I love that AEW is just going around and finding these interesting, cool, different venues.
Love it.
Alex, to one point, like I've had Bengals season tickets for 2 years. It is the Andrew J. Brady Music Center is right next door. I've walked past that thing a million times after parking my car, never gave it a second thought as to what it was.
Right.
And then I went there for AEW and it was incredible. It was so incredible that NXT was immediately like, well, we got to run there. Right. And it's compared to, for example, the Heritage Bank Arena, which WWE caught on fire at Raw 1001. I was there for that too. Dark, cavernous, not a good facility. It is just a sometimes better venue. And that stuff goes such a long way when you make the venue an important part of the show. Like, one of my favorite things about playing wrestling video games back in the day was when you got to set up like the Bash at the Beach set or something like that, like something that looks different, something that feels different. And I love that. And honestly, it's got me thinking, well, where can they go here in Lexington? Because Rupp Arena, AEW does not draw well at Rupp Arena, and I want them to come back. I want them to do that. And I'm like, okay, where the hell can they? I think there's like, there's like amphitheaters and stuff, but that has the wheels turning in my head. And I'm like, where can they go? Because as you mentioned, that Toni Storm spot looked real good. So let's talk about this show. I want to thank our great partners at MyBookie. MyBookie and the code FIGHTFUL. They didn't have AEW All-In odds up for some reason. I'm working on finding that out. We'll tell you more about MyBookie shortly. But I also want to thank NordVPN.com/FIGHTFUL. If you use Nord, hit us up. Let us know in the comments. You probably saved a bunch of money on the pay-per-view and got to watch the shows on Netflix. But Hangman Page came out, cut this phenomenal promo. By the way, send in your super chats and humper chats to get your question or statement read on the air. Cut a phenomenal, emotional promo. Thanked many people that helped him along the way, or that even made him better along the way, and then thanked Swerve. Alex, you are much more poetic about words like these than I. I am very interested to hear what you thought about that.
Well, I love the I don't know if you can't plan for a "you deserve it" chant, but you pretty much know that it's coming here. So I wonder if he had two plans for this particular opening of the thing. If they do a "you deserve it," then this is what I'm going to say. If they don't, then I've got something else. But I love that he was like, I think a lot of you missed the point if you think that I deserve it. That was kind of my thing, is that I wanted it, I needed it, but I didn't think that I deserved it. And more importantly, you deserve it. You deserve a champion that doesn't behave the way Moxley did. Like, I love that point. And when he does his thank yous, I love that the crowd knows he's got to thank Swerve. But I love also that they were too far ahead. They were like, I want to thank Orange Cassidy for helping out, and I want to thank Jay White and Adam Copeland. I want to thank the Ops and the list, and I want to thank and I also want to thank. And they were like, whose house? And he said Darby Allin. And like, oh yeah, him too, yes. Sure. And I also want to thank whose house? Brian Danielson. Yeah. We come on, get to it. And the crowd was ahead of him on that. And I also love that he knew they would be, and that he gave it the proper gravitas to him saying thank you to Swerve, that it was a specific pointed thing. Like, I never thought I would say this. I don't know if he did it for him or for AEW, or maybe even slightly for me, but thank you, Swerve. And I also love that it wasn't his music plays and he comes out and we get the congratulations, but I'll be coming for that sooner or later. I love that we're keeping them separated for now. That they've given Swerve something else, something almost equal for him to go after, to keep that story separated, because we all know we're going to get back to Hangman and Swerve eventually. I love that this chapter does not include them crossing paths, at least for now, until probably the Blood and Guts match. Like that, I think that there's a really good use of all of that here. I thought this was masterfully delivered by Hangman. I love that he was selling the left leg the entire time, like just a slight limp, just hobbling around the ring. Everything he took in the moment, had the proper amount of pauses and the emotion in his voice. A brilliant promo, the perfect first promo from this new champion.
I thought this was fantastic. This hit all the right things. This was what you needed to do. You needed something emotional. He had to be the first person that you saw as well. Oh man. We've got Chi-Town Spurs saying there's a jazz bar at the end of the block of this venue called the Green Mill. Been around since 1890. Capone used to hang out there. They better book a Tony vignette in that place. RJ, I know you watched this show. I saw RJ the other day. I didn't get to talk to him, but yeah, like I think that would be a really good exercise. Like send the Fightful account some venues that you all think that your city or a city nearby could run. Like for us in Lexington, it's like Rupp Arena or Kroger Field. Like there's a lot, but there's like an ATV area, an ATV stadium that has like 5,000 seats there or something. That could be a good one. There, if they really want to get thematic, there are horse parks and things like that actually, have good seating areas and all that. But I am very interested to see unique venues that people want to see wrestling from. Somebody says Freedom Hall. I mean, the Freedom Hall is big, man. Like Freedom Hall was enormous. Like, I don't think they're going to.
Somebody brings it up in the chat. I've often thought it would be really great for them to do a Mall of America show if they could get in there.
I would love
they could get Because like that would be so cool to like nod to the first ever Nitro. It was such an iconic venue for wrestling. Was the first ever Monday Nitro? Go back there, do it for a special Dynamite. That'd be awesome.
Well, I mean, yeah, they could, because First Wrestling does it all the time. I will go to one of their shows there at some point. But as Emma Suleman says, hello, is that all in? Still hyped? Amazing night. Dynamite delivered to. Really enjoy these post-show reviews from y'all. Well, we've enjoyed that you guys hang out with us. I think we have the smartest audience in wrestling, the most level-headed as well. I'm very, very excited to talk to you guys about all this. Love for Boost says, spotted Phil Lindsay towards the end of the Hangman promo. Shout out to Grapsity, who does shows that put Alex's to shame in length.
Yes.
Just insane lengths, like to the point to where when Rob downloads them, he has to take them into a completely other app to shrink the file size to upload them to our audio platform.
That's how you know it's a triumph.
Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney. I'm going to look that up right now. Kudos Bank Arena. Oh, that one already. Yeah, that one looks good. I like that. I want ones that are like, sort of. I want something that looks like it could be in a Muppets episode. You know what I mean? That's what I want.
Yeah,
that's what I want. Memorial Coliseum in Lexington. It's kind of old, man. It's old as hell.
Well, I mean, this one from tonight is 100 years old. It all depends on if it.
You know what? Nice. It's fair. It's just I don't know if the amenities in Memorial Coliseum are quite up to par. Like, I think they still have bleachers there. And you don't want that unless you tarp that entire thing off. You don't want bleachers. You don't want that. Dave Koss says, Hangman's promo was excellent. Then the show, for me, fell off a cliff. They're so inconsistent in follow-up and TV post-pay-per-views. Matches were inconsequential. Promos long-winded. Maybe it was injuries. What about you? So I will get into that. And you know what? We can go ahead and talk about one of those in a moment. But I do think that the reliance on the all-star tags is like, they're fantastic matches. They're going to be fantastic matches, but there's an over-reliance on those at this stage. Like, I don't think that every single match on TV needs to build to something else. Sometimes it's just guys getting wins and all that. That really started to come into effect in like the last 20, 25 years. TV before that was largely a product to build to the bigger shows, but time is different. Alex, how did you feel that they followed up All In?
TBD. I mean, like, there's we'll see. Like a lot of it is that they've got the two shows. They're doing stuff. They're setting up stuff on that they already announced for Collision. That's going to set up new things. I think that we're on with the exception of the Hurt Syndicate right here, it feels like everything's lined up for who's coming after what title next. Maybe not for Mercedes yet, but I think that there's a reason for that because she's got to lick her wounds after the loss. But everything else, like we know that there's on Collision, which is going to be must watch. They're doing Roosh versus Shibata, which to me directly leads into the Ops versus LFI, which is an amazing trios feud. Please give me that match twice. Like, so they're setting things up. We saw that Kyle Fletcher is correctly coming after Dustin Rhodes. Like, all of the titles seem like they are set up with something to happen afterwards. Even the ROH title got more of a urgency to who's coming after it. Like, they're doing a lot with a lot of this stuff. And I am trusting them over this residency, certainly, to have had everything set up so that, okay, here's coming after this. We're gonna progress this story. If they are in fact gonna do a blood and guts somewhere in these next couple of months, to finally say, okay, that's it. Hangman gets rid of the Death Riders forever with the help of these guys, which leads to Mox versus Darby. It starts all these things. MJF can then like say, okay, this is when I'm coming after you specifically, Hangman. There's all of these really cool threads that are all now leading someplace specifically. And I think that is what you want after a big show like that. I don't think they've done a bad job at this point at all.
Dante says they should use the venues more. For example, years ago, Butcher Blade working in the kitchen, kicking a door open, OC was there, stuff like that. Using the hall with the Bucks today was cool. We could have had that applied to the Young Bucks segment, which we will talk about momentarily, Luis. But I agree. I think you should make the venues part of the personality, part of the show. I think that stuff carries an awful lot in pro wrestling, because if it looks the same all the time, it gets really boring, right? And for a while in AEW, it all looked the same. A dark, drab show that didn't have a lot of color from the scenery. Varde Man says Palace Theater in Louisville, Kentucky. Look that one up, guys. I've seen Chappelle there twice, I believe. It's a beautiful, that looks like a show. That looks like one out of the Muppets. It certainly does. That one is right in my wheelhouse. We did have Kyle Fletcher defeating Mascara Dorada. Jeremiah John says, who did the new Okada and Fletcher theme music? The Kyle Fletcher one was Hot Mulligan, and then Okada was by One OK Rock. Those are not Mikey Ruckus themes, but Kyle Fletcher gets the win. A lot of people were coming for his ass this week, obviously, because of the Adam Cole situation, which is very unfortunate. We reported it was concussion issues, and it did stem from the lariat. I did speak to Kyle on Friday for an interview that will go up on Fightful. Fortunately, we didn't talk about the match that didn't end up happening, but I also saw some really weird conspiracy theories that it was because of the power bomb from a month ago and like they hit it or something. That is absolutely untrue. If you guys believe that, then you have never heard how Tony Khan deals with those things. He is overly cautious about his talent. Like
if you slow down that power bomb on the apron, Adam Cole's head did not make contact with the apron.
No, it didn't. Lucky. I mean, listen,
it was very lucky, but yeah.
These weren't smart people that were claiming this, but unfortunately, sometimes that's what we got to talk about. Kyle Fletcher gets the win here in what was a good match, but this was very much a get him a win to get him back in the TNT title picture type of thing. Dustin is going to speak on Collision, I hear.
I mean, I love Mascara Dorada, man. Like, that's great. This is the thing about it, is I wonder if this was all lined up to be originally Kyle's first defense. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been a really great person to defend it against. The match was excellent. Mascara Dorada, man, just this crazy stuff. Like, they slowed down one of his little springboards into a Hurricane Rana thing where he twisted in the air and had to do it. It's such a small window. Like, it was crazy. But yeah, Kyle Fletcher is awesome and brutal and frothing at the mouth while screaming at Dustin Rhodes. It's great. Give it to me. Like, I feel like we all know Kyle Fletcher's like gonna be the next TNT champion. He was supposed to be before Adam Cole got hurt. And Dustin Rhodes is a wonderful story, a great way to pick up the crowd after that real downer of a promo from Adam Cole. And he is keeping that belt warm for the man who's going to kill him. Like, that is what a fantastic way for Kyle Fletcher to get crazy heat than by beating the absolute piss out of the beloved Dustin Rhodes to get the title. It's a great way of doing it.
Also, Kyle Fletcher showed in this match, he is a phenomenal base.
Yeah.
He can work really any style with his skill set, his build, and just his overall talent, which is very impressive. We got the broke ass Young Bucks. They arrive in, I believe, a Nissan Sentra that is a lift. They have to get their own bag out of the back. Later on, they are trolled by Ricochet even, and they're like, we just teamed with you weeks ago. But you see that Ricochet is just actually an asshole. Like, that's the thing. He uses everybody.
Yeah.
Don Callis approaches, and he's like, I don't think any of this is funny at all. Like, I think this is very disrespectful. And I wonder why he's buttering them up. But he also indicates, well, Kenny's dead anyway. So he's gone.
Kenny's dead. Yeah.
So he's out of here. And we got the all-star tag match, which, again, I think they rely on way too much. Fantastic match that, again, they rely on too much. And their team gets the win. It's Hechicero, Josh Alexander, Young Bucks against Bandito, Brody King, and Jet Speed. What more can you say about the match than incredible? But I always felt like this was going to be a Young Bucks sort of like have to like go with what brought them to the dance. They've got to be great wrestlers instead of relying on the manipulation of power and all that. And I think that's what we're getting here. We're seeing them show, well, yeah, we've been assholes, but like we got to this position because we are incredible talent. I think that's the start of what's going on here. And I just want to say specifically, I can't even remember what the name is called of the move, but when Hechicero jumps onto the thighs of Bandito, launches him up in the air into the double super kick, I was like, oh my God, that is perfect. Yeah. I thought this was a lot of fun, but again, over reliance on all-star tags, but very interested in what the Bucks are doing.
Yeah, I mean, this is an all-star tag, and you could easily call the main event an all-star tag as well. You know what I mean? Like they did two of them on the same show, basically. So I really enjoyed that it was not. It's crucially to me, it's not bum ass Corbin. It's not lost his cardboard crown, so he also forgot how to button a shirt. Like, it's not that. Like, these guys are still they're AEW wrestlers, and they have to take an Uber or a Lyft to the arena, and they don't get a special locker room because they're not the EVPs. They get a place to dress where everybody like, and it's not the same thing. I don't
think Corbin forgot how to button it. He was too depressed to button it.
But he was so depressed that he forgot how to button a shirt and also how to eat food without spilling it on his one shirt.
Oh, thanks. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And so I think this was all really well done. I also love that everybody is getting back at them for them being a-holes to them. Here's your locker room. It's all the way at the bottom of the stairs around a corner. It's very small. We redid your Titantron for your entrance.
Comic Sans
and poop emojis. Like everything's very funny. I loved all this. Justin Roberts taking the piss in his introduction. Great. But they're still fantastic wrestlers.
Yes.
So they get to be fantastic wrestlers, and I think that's awesome. I think like they protected Bandito as much as they possibly could. Like what it took to take him out was a lot. Hechicero putting him to sleep. He doesn't tap out. He goes to sleep in the sleeper hold. Hechicero is one of my favorite wrestlers on the roster. I love that he's getting a shot against Bandito. Brody King's remains ridiculously over. Jet Speed are fantastic to watch. Josh Alexander is one of the best in the world. This was just a great match, and I agree with you. It's an over-reliance on this particular thing. The one part of this storyline-wise that is interesting to me is Callis being like, hey, I think we can do some business, you guys and me. You know, since Kenny's out of the way, we don't have to worry about that anymore. And they're like, we're never going to join your family. But yeah, I think we could do some business. And he's like, bring it in for a hug. And they focus on their faces, and it's like he's wet. It's like they're hugging him, and he's slightly damp. Like they have this horrible face they pull. So I'm interested to see how if that gets a little deeper. We're never going to join your family. In 4 to 6 weeks, are they just part of the Don Callis family by this point? Because they have nobody else.
Brian more or less says give the Bucks 5 months to be bums with Don trying to recruit them. They finally super kick him and say they'd rather be good guys than join him. I mean, that would be a very Bucks thing to say. We'd rather be baby faces than join you is a thing they would say on screen. And I would like sort of hate, but sort of like.
Yeah.
Ryan Ben says Hoochie Cheryl versus Brody King for any belt now. That's him intentionally mispronouncing Hechicero.
Hechicero.
Blind Roar says bum ass Bucks has been my favorite thing on Dynamite. It's very satisfying, and it is also a part of the now what with
Right.
AEW to see what the direction is moving forward.
Yeah, with the Bucks losing that thing, you have to pay that off. They're paying it off immediately. That's great. The consequences of them losing the match with the stipulation of they're no longer EVPs, you pay that off immediately. If it had been the other way around with Ospreay and Swerve, then you pay that off over time. If you're going to do it this way, you got to pay that off immediately, and they're already starting to. It's great.
Well, if you want to pay something off, I suggest mybookie.ag and the code FIGHTFUL. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. Right now, with a $100 deposit, you get a $50 bonus. Or if you make a $200 deposit, they'll give you a $100 bonus. I won some money this week, friends. I bet on JC Jane. I had her as a lock pick over Jordan Grace. Our lock picks, by the way, 31 for 31 in the last 20 months.
Wow.
31 out of 31. And this weekend, you've got UFC 318. Going to be a good show. They've got a whole bunch of odds up there for you. Not just that, they have some specials. Will Drew Brees attend UFC 318? Who will bleed first, Max Holloway or Dustin Poirier? Will Dustin Poirier place his gloves down in the octagon after the fight? Right now, him retiring in the cage is a favorite right now. They have the over-under, or actually an odd or even number on total combined significant strikes, and bets on UFC White House. Either way, your betting abilities are probably more reliable than that show. UFC 318 this weekend. Again, we had odds tips up on FightfulSelect.com for my bookie AG all weekend. I had Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, I think, is a lock pick Saturday. Then JC is a lock pick Sunday. I had Tiffany Stratton, had a number of others as like solid lock picks. But man, you love to see it. My bookie AG, please only bet what you can, and please bet responsibly. You can literally bet on table tennis and esports over there. Why wouldn't you? Jordan says the Young Bucks gear and suits need to get worse over the weeks.
No.
Yeah, I want to see them I want to see them be humbled in different ways than just they've already got plenty of suits. Like, they're not selling their suits. They still got their contract.
They still have their suits. They're not going to sell the suits. Now, maybe they can't buy any new suits, so we have to see them wear the same ones every time. Their gear, unless their gear gets tears in it, they're still going to have the same gear. I feel like the indignity of just having to be regular wrestlers and them overreacting to that indignity is, to me, the comedy there.
And Simmons says, enjoyed the show, but there were things I wanted to see. Bang Bang Gang versus Ricochet and Gates of Agony. Wanted to see what happens with Bowens. All cut good promos after All In. Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to come right back and do Collision. It's going to, I think it films tomorrow, so they'll probably get that in and we'll find out. But I think they're probably pretty wise to space some of this out, especially with the caliber of talent that they are going to miss. They do not have Kenny Omega right now. They don't have Will Ospreay, who Fightful Select reported a little bit ago, and Adam Cole. So I think that I'll see how the Collision show is laid out, and then we'll see. But Thomas Rathert says, regarding Will Ospreay, is his time off going to affect any plans? Sorry, I scrolled down. For Forbidden Door, hope he recovers, but we've got to sell a pay-per-view. I think that he will be back for Forbidden Door is what I expect. We have more details.
I would hope so.
Yeah. We have more details on FightfulSelect.com on that. No Poets Allowed says, I once hissed off the stage. Oh, I think you mean pissed off the stage at the Green Mill. What is the Green Mill?
I think he said got hissed off the stage. Is that it? Like was he performing and got booed off the stage, or did he piss off the stage? Because those are different things.
Gonna need some more details here, buddy. Gonna need. This is interesting. Probably unrealistic, but the visual of running Field of Dreams that MLB had a game at a few years ago, only if they do a segment where a little girl falls off the bleachers, like at the end of that movie, because it was one of the most insanely hilarious things that I had ever seen. I think it was actually Kate that encouraged me to watch that movie. Like, and it first off, it wasn't that great. It was okay. Like, it was all right, I guess. I would rather watch a comically bad movie than that. But the funny thing is, I went to go show my wife like a month ago, and I didn't even have to fast forward because I left it off there on like Netflix. So it was right there at that spot because I had rewound it so much. Now, Alex, speaking of, Toni Storm had a promo tonight that was interrupted by Athena, but I want you guys to go check out our shorts tab, go check out our interview. I was able to break Toni Storm. And how was I able to do it, Alex?
You were able to do it by bringing up the movie Freddy Got Fingered.
Of which I straight up told her I was trying to get you to review.
That's true. Yep.
After I asked her what the best worst movie was. And her answer was Master of Disguise with Dana Carvey.
Turtle.
That's exactly what I said. I went, turtle. Alex, I tried to watch this movie last night, and I mean try.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible.
It's pretty bad. You know the story.
Oh, I know this.
Of when they filmed
the interview question. So, for those that don't know the story, Dana Carvey supposedly was in his turtle suit for that movie, which is, again, the only funny moment of the movie. And in totality, the scene isn't funny. The little trailer part where he goes, turtle is funny. But then they found out about 9/11 as he's in the turtle suit. And apparently there was a prayer that happened in the turtle suit. Yeah. I cannot wait to ask her about this. But it was an abysmal movie, Alex. I got 30 minutes in and I fast forwarded to the turtle spot. I couldn't handle the accent. But Toni Storm cut a very, very graphic promo here. It was so of which I will say there was, I want to say, how do I refer to their title? A media professional tied to a company who admitted to me they don't watch other wrestling besides the company they work for. And they tried to get me to explain to them the Toni Storm gimmick. And they're like, does she really say all this stuff that I read that she says, or is it a bit online where people just claim she does? I was like, she does. And Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't care. They love it. Why wouldn't they? She's a huge star. But she said a lot of things. She put over the AEW Women's World Championship to the most extreme degree, saying that it is the top prize in women's wrestling. And it's hard to disagree with the way that she has defended it and the way that Mariah May carried it and the way that they had a feud. And she's interrupted by Athena, who's like, well, I would have that if I ever had the chance to have that. And I had to force myself to have a chance at that because I've held this thing for almost 1,000 days, the ROH World Championship. I'm very excited about this, Alex.
Yeah. I don't like, this is something for you, Sean. This is a question from me to you to ask them. Where did they come up with this technology? Where did they find it of only the red and the black and white? Like this thing that they're doing what took them so long? Because it's amazing. It's what's even better than it being her lights and her lipstick and her dress is the pops of red in the crowd, which is fantastic in Chicago because you get to pick out all the Bulls and Blackhawks fans. But like this, it's such a really cool thing. Like the idea of it, like it's so perfect. It's like it's just made for her. I love the promo, the substance of it, the lines, like just the intricacy of how it's constructed, and the delivery is 100% on point. Poor Luther, she admitted apparently when she went to an indie show that his penis fell off. And
he's got to get his penis back.
That's
You
so
listen,
horrible
you
for
know,
him.
actually, I don't have that much sympathy for him because at one point in time, Alex, this man held me down while Awesome Kong sawed off my hair with a hook knife.
Right, it's true.
At least they donated it to a good cause. But I mean, like, listen, sometimes people like that deserve to have things cut off of their own.
It's true.
My hair, his wiener.
So I love her being interrupted by Athena and Billy. They're very, very different characters than her. I love the way that Athena framed it as, and I'm coming after that, and I also have this. I'm never going to lose this, so I get to be two-time champ. I think that's all great. The way that she referred to the contract, and the way that MJF referred to the contract, make me think it's Money in the Bank rules, because there's like, she says, I could cash this in at any time. I could use this at any time. I could do it in London. I could do it here in Chicago. I could do it in Toronto. Oh, you know what? I might do it here. And she writes something down. And Billy's like, I like that idea. So is this a 24 hours notice, or is this a right now? Because when MJF is talking about it, he says, I'm just going to pin you in a regular match, clean in the middle of the ring. I only got this as a break glass in case of emergency. And I'm like, if you get a title match against him, that should count for this. Like, the thing in your hand is a guaranteed title match. If you get another version of that, that should be used. This should go away. So I really need
I
them
disagree.
to be
I think you should be able to stack them. I think you should be able to both earn a title shot and have one.
Fair enough, I guess.
That's just how I feel. But Alex, it's better than we imagined. No Poets Allowed said hissed with an H. It was a poetry slam. They hiss when they get bored.
No poets allowed. Apparently, that's what the crowd said. No poets allowed.
Whew, I wish I had more to give you for this super chat, buddy, but it's tough to follow that one. So all I'll say is Brian more or less said the EVP trigger spot had me dying. They didn't know what to call it. They were discussing it in the ring.
Hello, that's great.
We had a Cope promo where he basically told Christian, I warned you about this. Despite you being a piece of trash, I warned you about this. And then he broke down why this was so important for him to come after FTR. And he said, They cost me 4 months of my career, and that's 4 months that I don't have. I thought that made an awful lot of sense. And then Stokely came out. I thought that the Oompa Loompa line was lame as hell.
Lame as hell. Yep.
And then the crowd chanted it.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that I'm simply cooler than most wrestling fans.
Yeah, we are both cooler than most wrestling fans. Yeah.
Very so much cooler. But the crowd chanted it, and he goes, "Would hate if that caught on." It's like when the big moment happens in WWE, and they have Michael Cole go, "What a moment!"
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It is easy to forget that Stokely Hathaway has wrestled over 50 matches and trained at the Performance Center.
Yeah.
He had amazing timing and took a spear perfectly.
Yeah, he did. It's great.
Took a spear better than a lot of wrestlers take a spear.
Yeah.
I thought this was an effective segment. Didn't like the Oompa Loompa line.
No.
But, this is going to be a big draw for All Out.
Yeah. The Cope part of it was fine. Can be like, I don't blame them for turning on him. It's a great way to set up them becoming friends again, I guess. But we'll see what that happens down the line. The FTR thing, you cost me 4 months of my life. Yeah, I have 4 months of my career. I get it. And then when Stokely comes out and says, if you touch FTR, you're fired. Did Stokely become an EVP? Under whose
How
rule,
did this happen? Yeah.
Under whose rule does Cope get fired if he touches FTR, the guys who brutally attacked him with a chair and cost him 4 months of his career? Like, that's got to be Stokely just talking out his ass, because it doesn't make any sense for Tony Khan to have levied some rule that Adam Copeland can't touch FTR. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So that was the part of this thing that didn't make sense to me, but I did love the way that Stokely, he came up with 4 security guards. 2 of them got in the ring with him. Those guys got dispatched immediately by Copeland. And then he looked to the other 2 guys, who paused just long enough before Scooby-Dooing and Shaggying right up the ring, up the ramp. That was fantastic.
Kevin Koo is just not a good security guard. This happens to him a lot when he does extra work.
It did a lot. Yeah. So then there we go. So I thought it was really this was well done. Sets up what it needs to.
I would like to see, hear them be overheard backstage, and Stokely can be like, eventually he's going to ask if he's really going to get fired if he touches you guys, something like that, where it's just Stokely lied.
Yeah,
I would like that. Kip Sabian, Nick Wayne, and Mother Wayne cut a promo explaining why they betrayed Christian Cage. How'd you feel about this one?
Fine. I think that this will be all right. We'll see what plans they have for Nick Wayne long term. One of the things to me has got to be a one-on-one match between him and Christian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Christian just coming back from being attacked by them to help out his buddy Cope against FTR feels less urgent for him than getting revenge on his surrogate son. So we'll see how they walk that tightrope and see what happens. If it's I will help you against FTR if you partner with me against my 2 wayward sons.
Yeah.
And then they win that match first, and then he agrees to help them out against FTR. You could do that before All Out, one after the other. And I think that kind of solves the problem.
Alex, if they ever take one idea that I pitch, it should be Christian saying, "I'm proud of you, and your father would be too." And that is a line that makes you go, "Oh,
yeah, to be good."
Damn, that is what brings it. That is bigger than winning a championship for Nick Wayne, I think, and for Christian to show that character growth. I spoke about that with Charlotte. Charlotte's character for years has been selfish and worried about individual accolades. And then when you see her in that tag match and she grabs and helps Alexa and holds Alexa, you're like, oh, okay. This is a wrinkle that we've never seen before. I want to see that out of Christian, because we have not seen Christian be anything but selfish for years. And that's worked out very, very well to lead to this moment. Andrew Brown says, how long do you have the bum ass Bucks go? Until they get the appropriate level of sympathy through you see them trying to change. Right. Accountability is a babyface feature.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of admit shortcomings and things like that. And I think that once the crowd starts to get behind them and they start to do some babyface things, that then they'll turn babyface.
I really like the idea of them having nowhere to turn but Don Callis, but not liking teaming with Don Callis, and then eventually say, Don Callis gives him an ultimatum: you're either in the family or you're out. And he's like, we would rather be good guys than be in your family. The crowd would eat it up. They'd love it. They would become the bad guys that we tolerate and then love. And so they would become baby faces in the eyes of the crowd. And then they're super mega over as a tag team again. And honestly, depending on how long that takes, I would not be surprised to see them turn that kind of response from the crowd directly into a babyface tag team title run.
Because Okada is the one with the power now, and he basically left him.
Yeah.
Mike Lima says, Matt and Nick's intro and lower thirds were hilarious. I also get the feeling Moxley is losing his bravado and his control of the Death Riders. I'll talk more about the direction I want that to go in a bit, but Bill Alphabet says, Kip looking straight out of a Mills and Boone novel. I know some of those words. We had a Hurt Syndicate vignette, and then MJF, you recounted the the promo, but Dante says the look Lashley gave MJF during his part of the promo made me think that'll happen down the line. You can tell that it bothers Bobby Lashley to hear MJF talk about how great he is at everything.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it needs to. Like, this is the thing and why I never enjoyed this is that I feel like I don't know what the Hurt Syndicate. Maybe MVP likes hanging out with his buddy MJF. But I don't understand what Lashley and Shelton get out of being in a faction with MJF. And I think that Bobby's never really been about it. So I think him being the first guy to be like, we're not doing this. When I think it's going to come as part of the thing with Hangman, where MJF straight up orders them to take out Hangman, and Lashley's like, I ain't doing this for you. This is not what I'm about. I think that you could easily do something with that too. I think you could find out the way that is. The wording though of I'm gonna beat you in a regular match, and then this is a break glass in case of emergency, really feels like that's I'm gonna attack you after you have your first title defense type of thing and try and do a cash in. I just don't know. I would really like some clarity on what that is. I understand that, like, I think in 2015, Seth Rollins had a title match and didn't have to cash in the Money in the Bank to get that title match. But it's not WWE, and this isn't the Money in the Bank briefcase. It's a different device in a different company. You can make your own rules for it. And I would hope that AEW would be like, if you get a title match, that counts as this thing you have, which might be a reason for MJF, if it is a cash it in anytime, any place type of thing, that he wants to use that not in a fair one-on-one match. And so he rejects the offer of if Hangman challenges him, hey, I'm going to fight you at Forbidden Door or wherever. And MJF's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna bide my time. I'm gonna do this on my terms. That's a good heel move too. It'll work.
I'll tell you what a good babyface move is. NordVPN.com/Fightful. My God, if you all had that this weekend, first off, drop in the chat. Let us know that you use NordVPN.com/Fightful. It would mean an awful lot for us if you did. But you could watch all of this weekend's WWE shows on one Netflix account. You just get on there, change your virtual location. It's just a couple bucks a month, and you get access to it on Netflix. And maybe you're like, man, I don't know if I can afford it, but I really want to buy these AEW pay-per-views. Well, it's going to pay for itself probably like the first or second pay-per-view that you buy, because instead of paying $40 for an AEW pay-per-view, you change your virtual location, get it for half the price. You can also, if you're traveling like I was, at the airport, at the venue, at the hotel, protect yourself on that public Wi-Fi. And you can get around some of the decreased Wi-Fi speeds along the way with NordVPN.com/Fightful. Luis saying, all hail the Nord. Got all in with $20 with Nord. UFC pay-per-view this weekend. I talked about it earlier. NordVPN.com/Fightful. And that's just scratching the surface on what you can do there. But considering we came out of a big travel week, a big pay-per-view weekend, we're headed to another one with UFC. Lots of opportunities there for NordVPN.com/Fightful. It doesn't make financial sense to not do it. Also, no ads during matches on Dynamite. Also during Raw or SmackDown when you watch on the overseas versions as well, which is what I do. You get to see all those what's the word? International breaks. I don't know the actual phrasing for it, but it works on all your devices and all your operating systems. NordVPN.com/Fightful. We also saw the Mark Briscoe promo, and our friend Vicky, I believe, sent in something about that I wanted to bring up. Says, Briscoe, Swerve, who messes with MJF, who screws him versus Page? Do you think it'll be one versus the other? Well, we don't know necessarily when MJF is going to take on Hangman, but what I loved tonight was now that MJF has cost Mark Briscoe a world title shot, now he is painfully serious. We'll see elements of, well, if it looks like a bitch, it quacks like a bitch, it's probably a bitch. but he is very serious about making sure that MJF understands the reality of the situation that he has created, Alex.
Yeah, emphasis on the words "very serious," because last week on this very show, I was like, I need, or was it 2 weeks ago? I need Briscoe to like have that disrespect from MJF change the way he behaves. No more crazy Mark Briscoe. Let's get to like serious, I'm gonna kick your ass, Mark Briscoe. And they did that exact promo on Collision. And it was great. And then they're doing it here too. This is the kind of Mark Briscoe promos that I need from him, for at least for the time being, to show how different this beef he's got with MJF is, rather than anybody he was fighting while he was part of the conglomeration. Like this feels much more real to him. I think that's excellent. This was really well done. I love the use of a defunct cloakroom as a setting for this. Was a really, with all the little hooks on the wall. Like, I love, this is the other thing about these venues that they find. They almost always have little hidden out of the way places backstage that are perfect for these kinds of promos. And I think it'd be kind of cool for them to find all these places when they do location scouting. Also, what is the interior like? What are these little fun little broom closets we can find? That was really cool too. I liked this a lot. I also feel like Briscoe basically being the fly in the ointment, so to speak, for MJF coming after Hangman Page. And really, if he ends up costing him a cash-in, if that's what they do, that it would only be MJF's fault, because he's the one who decided to pick a fight with Mark Briscoe, and Mark Briscoe doesn't let grudges die. I think it's a really cool idea.
I mean, I want to see him channel Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe was one of the most intimidating human beings I have ever seen. Like, when he spoke, I often speak about how Gunther, I believe everything he says. It's not always because he's intimidating. It's because he is booked as such a champion person. When he loses, he's like, I lost. My bad. Sucks that I lost, but I'm going to come back and beat him. And that's not something you see out of heels. Jay Briscoe was just a violent pro wrestler that I was like, oh, okay, I believe that. I believe that. $100,000 four-way. Thekla defeated Kris, Statlander, Queen Aminata, and Willow, thanks to Julia Hart and Sky. They are apparently together now. I just want to say this. It is unfortunate that Jamie Hayter got injured, but Queen Aminata has stepped up to such an extreme degree and proven herself indispensable and such. And very excited about that. Anthony Velasquez says, Sky Blue, Thekla, and Julia Hart stable. If booked right, color me intrigued. Yeah. All three in the way of, like, they translate to American television very well and have something similar going on.
I like that too. I think it's really well done. It also gives Aminata and later Jamie Hayter, when she comes back, something for them to fight through. Like all these, like Sky Blue, Julia being as a part of that thing makes it harder for them to get revenge on Thekla. Also, I don't know if you call the faction this, or if this is like the name of their new song that you would give them as a group, because I don't want to take it. Whenever Julia comes out for her by herself, she needs to have the original theme song, because it's one of the best Mikey ever did. I love it. But as a group, if they have like a new trios theme song, it needs to be called Heart of the Spider.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, Okada got a new theme song, by the way.
He did.
Arduit says, camera work, venue, crowd, peak. Tony was amazing. 8-Man was a banger. Everyone was on fire. Hechicero has 100 charisma. His taunts shouldn't work, but they do. Swerve, Okada is going to feed families. So, Arduit, we are here to talk about this. I would say the most momentous program moving forward that AEW put like in stone.
Yeah.
Was them saying, okay, guys, you know how it was reported, how it was out there that this is going to be a 1B championship?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a guy that is one of the most over talent that we have ever had, that was a major factor in the main event program of this, that helped eliminate the EVP status, all that. And that's who Okada is calling out. I like that. I like that the champion, who hasn't needed anybody to defend that championship until this week, which I'm going to talk about momentarily, is saying, I'm deciding who's next, and this guy should be who's next. And everybody's like, oh, hell yeah.
And that is a crucial part of this to me as well, because if left to his own devices, Hangman's not barred. Swerve's not barred from going after Hangman, which is what he would want to do. He wants his title back. And also he might respect Hangman more. That part of their past is dead and buried, but he still would want to kick Hangman's ass, just, on general principle. Also, he would probably want to go after Moxley and the Death Riders for doing what they did to Will Ospreay. So it's important to me that if it was up to him, he'd probably do one of those two things. But Okada comes out and says, hey, Swerve, you screwed my boys, the Young Bucks. I'm calling you out. And Swerve calmly strolls down to the ring and says, I'll be your Huckleberry. You want to do this with me? You're calling me out. Okay, well, all that other shit can wait. Because right now, you just picked a fight with the wrong one. I think that is a perfect use of Swerve. It's a perfect use of this title. Okada has been the Continental champ and now the Unified champ for a very long time, through an entire C2.
I don't need them carrying all three titles, by the way. Get some of those titles off TV.
No, we don't need the actual carrying the whole. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it has to happen in their first match, but if you told me Swerve beats Okada and becomes the Unified champion, sure. Like the idea that it could be like in a few months, maybe 6-7 months, if it winds up being the lineage of that includes Swerve as part of that. Ospreay gets a title shot for the other title or whatever. Like there's so many guys at the top. Like if you're going to make this a 1B title, Swerve is the dude who belongs in that picture, and maybe in that picture with a title belt around his waist.
So they had a face-off. It is an important thing to note that Tony said that these titles are unified and carry on both lineages. Again, I don't need all the titles I don't need all the belts. Like get rid of them. I'm tired of that. I don't need that. But because the Continental Champion won, those rule sets continue. But I actually did like how the ref is going to use discretion at AEW All In and going to try to not disqualify somebody in a world title match. But the moment that Don Callis could get involved without being fired, he did. And then Tony Khan said, oh, by the way, if you do that again, whether the ref sees it or not, you're fired because these are the rules. I do like that this other world championship has this sort of rule. I do not know how the 20-minute time limit will play into that for something like Swerve versus Okada, though.
That's the thing. If their first match goes to a time limit and then they get another one and Swerve wins, I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
And
great.
I honestly would really like to see where that, if that is something that sticks around, that it plays in where, why would Okada not try to take his time, and then everybody that comes after him is going to try to pick up that pace. So you see Okada trying to slow things down. You see other wrestlers trying to speed up that pace.
Like if you go back to the WCW TV title days, that was a 10-minute time limit. And when Regal was the TV champion for a long time, when it got to about 8 minutes, he was just on his bicycle all over the ring. You could not get a hold of that guy. I was like, how is this big dude moving this fast? Because he was like, you will not pin me in the last 2 minutes. Like that was a lot of fun. Like he was just playing defense. He was just playing defense. You could do some fun stuff with Okada.
We have Meat Norma saying, much like my meat, I'm sauced. Nothing pertinent to add, just showing love. Rings, ribs, and wings have me sleepy. Toodles. Meet Normus, where are you at? Like, listen, pause, but I got to eat some of your meat at some point. Got to have a mouthful of that meat.
I believe he is in the Eastern Seaboard, Maryland, DC area. He's a Commanders fan and a Nationals fan.
Okay.
So
I got roasted because I said I like medium well steaks today.
Listen, man, I don't even want to go there with you. It's fine. It's whatever. It's okay. You know what? I'm not judging. I'm not getting into a fight. It's fine. I'll let everybody else.
How do you like your steaks?
Like this, like not medium well, but like
well,
if there is a perfect midpoint between medium rare and medium, that's how I like my steaks. That's how I will order my steaks. I'm like, if it comes out medium rare or it comes out medium, that's fine. But if you could have the chef do it right in the middle, that's my perfect steak. And maybe 40% of the time it comes out that way. It's fine.
Black Phoenix Brand says, Swerve versus Okada, hook me up, pump that into my veins. I mean, it's a major program for this.
Oh,
title.
Yeah. And yes, 100%. Yeah.
And you need it. That way you can stack up stuff on these shows and have something for Collision as well. Like that way you got one or the other. Moo 2K4, which listen, I gotta say, Moo 2K3 is really tough to beat, but 2K4 was a good one. So some incredible stuff being built tonight. Swerve Okada, Storm Athena, Mox Darby, A+ stuff. Excited to watch it these next few weeks. Well, Moo, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Hangman, Hobbs, Briscoe defeated the Death Riders. And then we see Darby at the end. James Stalling says, Darby and Mox coming? Yes, please. I kind of think they should set up like a Blood and Guts that writes off Death Riders as a group, period. But how do you feel about this program moving forward? And what do you expect to be next for Hangman after this match?
Well, that's the thing, is that MJF lurking there, figure out I don't want to do it yet. So then you got to figure out something for Hangman to do otherwise. I wonder if it's hey, thanks for helping me out in this match tonight, and also the Blood and Guts match when they have it. Mark Briscoe, I'd like for you to have a title shot. I respect you so much, Mark Briscoe, kind of a thing from Hangman. And they have the match, but that's ruined by MJF. Because, of course, it would be. Like, him cashing in during that match is the most max thing they could possibly do. Like, I'm trying to think of what things they would do with this. But I kind of love the idea of the Blood and Guts match writing off all of the other Death Riders, but Mox is still there.
Yeah.
And Darby has a one-on-one match with Mox to write Mox off. He doesn't get any of his pals. There's nothing. He's got nobody there to help him. It's just him and Darby, and he wants revenge on Darby. And so like he will be extra vicious to Darby. Darby will take all kinds of punishment. It'll be bloody. It'll be gory, and he'll win because he's Darby, because he's impossible to kill. I feel like that's a good way of doing this. Maybe the thing is that because we've seen Darby has no problem threatening to light a man on fire for a shot at the TNT title. Yep. What will he do? What lengths will he go to in a Blood and Guts match to get a match against Moxley to repay him for all the horrible things that Moxley did to Darby Allin? There's a lot of stuff you could do there.
Main event obviously played out how it's playing out. We're seeing the Death Riders disintegrate. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. This was heavy on the well, we're wrapping things up and seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
But any wrap-up thoughts on tonight's AEW Dynamite?
I think they're in a really good position going forward. They got some big shows coming up. Forbidden Door and All Out. How far apart are those? Is it 2 weeks?
What is it now?
Between Forbidden Door and All Out. All Out's in September. I know Forbidden Door's August 24th.
It's a month. It's
a month.
There's it's August 24th and September 20th. So
okay. So what's a month? I didn't know how close they were, but that's still that's the minimum amount of time you should have to capitalize on Forbidden Door and go into All Out. So you've got now what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks to get ready for Forbidden Door and 4 weeks to get ready for All Out. This is the point to really hit your stride, and they've got the horses to do it.
Gabe Kidd and Blood and Guts with Kingston returning. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I want to see Gabe Kidd get something more substantial here. He's been a little nerfed, and he doesn't feel as special right now.
Well, the thing that's interesting about the Gabe Kidd thing is that when they took out Ospreay was unconscious when he took the concerto to, like, the stomp concerto from Claudio. The reason he was unconscious is because Gabe Kidd choked him out with a guillotine.
Yes.
So you could trace that right back to Gabe Kidd, which is why I feel like Will Ospreay versus Gabe Kidd at Forbidden Door is a really good idea. Because it makes.
I wonder how Forbidden Door is going to look. Because I'm pretty sure it's right in the middle of the G1. They got to never do that again. Never ever do that again.
You can't do that.
In fact, never put it around the G1 because you'll have New Japan wrestlers wanting to save themselves for the G1.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Have a new feature, Fightful Studios, up about Bret Hart and the process of interviewing Bret Hart. Please check it out. Thursday, an interview with Carlos Silva. Friday, interview with Mike Santana. This weekend, we got Slammiversary coming up. We got UFC 318 coming up. We got a bunch of AEW interviews coming up. Lots of cool stuff. I just saw that Mike Straw did Fightful Presents the Spirit Squad. Lots of cool stuff there. Sarah Lixity says it's a week after the G1 finals. So you're going to have a lot of people beat to absolute dog shit. And that's also a thing that makes me go, okay, knowing Tony, he's going to book this show, and I would imagine he is going to have contingency plans in order.
You'd have to.
For that. Because, I mean, he's had to book around people, and I don't want to say who, that didn't want to do stuff because they were saving themselves for the G1. Mm-hmm. And then I know that there have been times in the past where they've been like, well, we got to see how they end up after the G1 type of thing. Yeah. Tom LaValle salutes the tribal meat. Alex, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on the socials media at Alex Sour Graps. You can find me over at Fightful Select behind the paywall, reviewing SmackDown and Raw, and then on this show on Tuesdays reviewing NXT. There's a lot of fun stuff. We just had our 700th episode of Sour Graps, but Kate wasn't able to be on it because of some weather stuff that was going on. So
I saw that.
We're gonna have a proper 700th episode.
Okay.
Septuacentennial. We're gonna
700 and a half, like Jackass.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna do 700 and a half episode. We're gonna do that at some point. I'm just not sure when. So
thank everybody for got fingers on it. Yeah, I mean, listen, Kate got hammered by that weather. Like that was rough. Meat Norma says every steak cooked above medium rare takes a second off my life. Just have a burger, you murderers. Top meat out. What's with this man? Uh-huh. Guys, again, please check out not just this channel, but Fightful Scraps, Fightful Overbooked, Fightful Espanol on all platforms. We have TikTok, we have Instagram. We got all of that. Until next time, we're out.